There's all kinds of rescues that rescue tortoises, but they don't provide them homes.
Right.
There's nobody that provides the homes. Every rescue that we know of takes tortoises in and then rehomes them. Well, that only works if you have enough people willing to take the tortoises. The equation, you have to take in just as many tortoises as you can find homes for. And if you're not finding homes, then you can't rescue tortoises. And so that was really the big thing for us, is that we had the land, we have the Joshua trees, you know, the natural terrain. We live in California where the California desert tortoise is endangered. And we knew that long-term housing was needed. That's what nobody provides. And so we said, well, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
We are Joshua Tree Reptile Haven. We, as our name implies, are a reptile haven, but we focus on tortoise and turtles because of the lack of homes for them. And we are a nonprofit 501c3. That was done to protect the tortoises and the turtles. That's what the government or the state requires in order to receive donations and help from the public, and so that's what we did.
So we were contacted by someone from a town nearby, Ridgecrest. They had a desert tortoise that had been bitten by a dog, and the plastron, the bottom portion of the shell, was broken. And so because we had reptile experience, they asked if we could help. We took her to the vet, our vet down in Bakersfield, and afterwards came to the conclusion that we were going to place aluminum braces on her plastron to keep it steady so that the new bone would grow back. And so that's what we did. And sure enough, it grew back, and she is absolutely perfect now. But that was the start of it. Then we started being contacted by others in regards to tortoises, and the animal shelter, for instance, contacted us. They had located a tortoise that was lost, and so we took it on. But and then we started researching to see like if there was any tortoise and turtle rescues or sanctuaries for them to go to, and there wasn't, but we quickly learned that there was a much great need for what we're doing. We have the property, we're able to do it, and really the only reason why we did the 501c3 nonprofit was because we were putting our own money into taking care of them, which was fine, but the more tortoises we took in, the greater need for funding there was. So we decided, well, we don't need an income. That's why we volunteer our time, but the tortoises needed an income. So that's why we went through the whole process of creating the nonprofit and following through with it. So
Last year in about July, August, September, somewhere around there, and we were like, okay, this is happening,
Yeah.
like this is what we're gonna do. It was just rocking and rolling from there. And that, it's grown. We went from less than 5 tortoises to 105 tortoises now.
Oh my gosh.
in a year.
And is that grown into like a full-time job for you guys? Is it like you're
Absolutely.
waking up and first thing you're thinking about is tortoises?
We're asleep and we're thinking about tortoises.
Really what it comes down to is when you take in an animal, now you're in charge of that animal's life. Well, if you're not dedicated to giving that animal the best, then you're not going to think about it. And that's what we want to do, is give the best. So that's all we do, is think about, oh, well, for instance, Dash. We're going to let him have a feast right now, you know, but this isn't something that happens to him every day. The next thing will be another tortoise that we're going to give some enrichment, something that's the best to, you know. And so, yeah, it's more than a full-time job because we don't get paid, and it never ends. It never ends.
Yeah, there's no
always
9 to 5, Monday through Friday. It's 7 days a week, from sun up to sundown.
So Tim and Harold are our most famous tortoises on YouTube, and we got called on New Year's Day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And you guys went down to rescue them New Year's Day?
The next morning.
The next morning. They contacted us, I think it was like probably 4 or 5 o'clock on New Year's Day. And we were there at 7 a.m. the next morning.
6:45, because if you're not 15 minutes early, you're 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
But we told the gentleman he had tried to contact other rescues and nobody would help. And we said, we'll be there before the sun comes up. And he thought we were full of it. And sure as pancake batter makes pancakes, we were there at the gate calling his cell phone saying, okay, hello, Tim, we're here.
Yeah.
He's probably still dressed in his bathrobe and slippers.
And he was not an early person, so he didn't think it was going to happen. But
That's me too. You probably would have been waiting a couple hours.
But that is, it is more than a full-time job. It's our life now.
Right.
If you had to summarize the mission statement of the Reptile Haven here, like really succinctly, how would you put it?
To provide the best life possible.
What the best is if a tortoise can be a tortoise. There's nothing better than that. If a turtle can be a turtle, you can't really ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
The opportunity for an animal to be what it's supposed to be. That's, now for us, that means the best, as in they get heated houses or special foods. We're not feeding them dog food because it's cheaper by the bag. We buy the most expensive. Now that's what we want to do. But in essence, that's what it is allow the animal to be what it's supposed to be.
Without experiencing suffering conditions.
All of us have had suffering one way or another in our lives. And we can all, I think, agree that that's no way to live. That's not a life. And because of the lack of care and long-term housing for tortoises, they just suffer. That's all they do. Everywhere we turn, it's a tortoise suffering.
Right.
For instance, everybody's familiar with Tim and Harold, 30 years on a roof. That was suffering. And so if we can make it to where that is never a part of their life, or even in the equation of their life, it's never going to happen, then I think that's the best.
Yeah. So we get contacted either through our website or email. They'll call us on the phone. Those are all of our communications.
Or Tortoise Forum.
Oh, Tortoise Forum, and then also Facebook we have as well, and Instagram. So we are being contacted for the tortoises needing to be rehomed. And
we don't seek out any tortoises.
No.
So we don't look, we get sent like Craigslist ads of tortoises that they want money for, which is something else. We don't mind paying money. We think that there's this terrible stigma that a rescue has to be free, that you can't pay for it. If we can pay $50 or $80 or $100 for a tortoise to stop suffering, then we do it.
Yeah.
But we don't go on Craigslist and look for tortoises.
No.
We are contacted solely either through one of the forms of communication by people that know of a tortoise or have a tortoise.
And we do not pay for them unless we would absolutely have to. If there was a tortoise that was suffering and somebody just would not do anything but take money for it, in order to relinquish it, then we would pay whatever it was to get the tortoise. Because at the end of the day, it's about the tortoise. But we do get a lot of tortoises shipped to us. And so sometimes there are families who need to surrender their tortoise, but they don't necessarily have the funds to send it overnight. And so we'll help out with that as well.
It's very common. Somebody financially can't take care of a tortoise. Well, then we don't think, it makes no sense for us to go, oh, well, then your tortoise can't get helped. You couldn't take care of the tortoise, so you're seeking out somebody to help it. Well, we don't advertise that we do this, but we are contacted quite often by somebody that they can't afford the $150 to ship it and the $50 for the kit to ship it in. So we've had tortoises from a dozen states now shipped to us. Maryland, Massachusetts, Florida, Tennessee, Illinois, Kentucky, Virginia.
And we do not charge to have them surrendered either. A lot of places will, but we don't. We don't feel that we put a price tag on the surrender. It puts a barrier between helping the tortoise, between the tortoise and us. So we don't need a barrier in between. The important thing is to get the tortoise and help the tortoise. So we don't charge a fee to surrender either.
Have y'all reached capacity here at the Joshua Tree Reptile Haven, or are you still open to receiving tortoises if a family needs to surrender a tortoise?
So we're not even close to capacity. We are expanding every single day. We are expanding, but we have 10 acres and we've used so far not even half of it. And so we still have lots of room on the
Lots
property.
of building to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we
And
have
lots
the,
of room in our hearts to do it.
yeah, if we have the space, we want to share it. Why not? You know, and with being able to get volunteers and in to help us, there's tons of people that would like to do what we do every day. So being able to get volunteers, you know, when needed, not a problem. So why not share? You know, we have the land to do it. We might as well share it. So,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
If people wanted to support the Joshua Tree Reptile Haven in some way, what opportunities are you offering and where can they reach out to you?
So a financial donation.
You would go on our website, which is www.joshuatreereptilehaven.org. There's a donate button to click on. And that also below that button, there is another button that is called our Chewy list. So we have an account with Chewy where we put certain items that we're in need of, foods and so forth here. And you have the opportunity to go on there and purchase those items and they ship directly to us. So that's another option. As far as volunteering, we will be doing that in the near future. And so on our social media pages, those types of work that we need to be volunteer for will be listed, and we'll be looking for different volunteers, not just locally, but there are a lot of people that are travel through here and would like to donate some time when they come through, so that's an option as well. So
Before we could have the volunteers, we had to have in place legal protections as far as insurance. And we're in California, so insurance is kind of a tricky situation. Not a lot of people like to talk about it, but it's a mandatory thing. And so that was what we did for that. We're just starting actually to allow volunteers to come in. And the other way that we can be supported is
YouTube.
Yeah, by simply doing what they're doing right now. Just as they're watching your channel and giving you support, people that watch our channel are giving us support just by watching. Just this last weekend, we rescued 2 desert tortoises that the people were moving out of state, and how they found out about us was the sister watched our videos. And so that is another way, not just by the monetization of YouTube or anything, but you help us help other animals, you help us reach other people, you help us in the whole of the mission just by watching. And a lot of people think that I have to either give my time as far as volunteering, or I have to give money in order to donate. And just donating your time watching the videos, that is supporting us.
Yep.
What other services do you guys offer? Because of the name Joshua Tree Reptile Haven, I feel like it implies you handle other reptiles. Is that the case, or is it just tortoises and turtles?
So currently, if there is a snake or lizard that is in need of help in rehoming, what we would do would be accepted in and go through the process, making sure that there's nothing wrong with it. If there is something wrong with it, we take it to the vet, so forth. And then at that point on those animals, we would be seeking out to adopt those out. And the reason why is because we do not have a building, a housing, you know, to be able to house other reptiles.
It's coming though.
Yeah, we're hopeful. We're hopeful for in the future to be able to have something like that, but for right now we don't. But we wouldn't turn them away. We would do everything we needed to do in order to ensure that they're healthy and then get them to a forever home.
Awesome.
So
We just, in the future, we're not sure if that's what we're going to do as well, as far as long-term housing for other reptiles.
right.
But we are going to do short-term. And there are a lot of facilities that do, or I shouldn't say facilities, but options for people that are interested in reptiles. Oh, well, this is a corn snake, or this is a gecko, for them to start their journey of having reptiles as pets. And so there's a big market for that. For the tortoises, there just isn't.
No.
There's not very many people that say, yeah, for the next 75 years, I'll make sure that whatever is needed to be done for this animal, I'll make it be done. Now, a gecko or a snake that has a lifespan of less than 10 years, that's a little bit easier.
And that can be some type of an enclosure that is inside the house. So more people are available to be able to have an animal like that. You know, they could be in an apartment and have a snake or a lizard. Where the tortoises, it's different. You have to have a little bit of land area to be able to give them an outdoor enclosure. So it's not as popular.
And I've seen some videos online of Dana catching some rattlesnakes and doing some removals. Do you offer that as well, or is that just around here at the Haven that you're removing snakes?
So he does remove them here on the property. Well, I take that back. We do not remove them. If they're out here near the pens or they're out in our backyard, we'll get them, give them a drink of water, and then we'll put them like somewhere on the property, like under our sea train or, you know, under a bush or something for them to further go to. And
Snakes are very territorial.
yeah,
A lot of people don't know that if you catch a rattlesnake and you move it, say, our distance that we use is a mile. Some people try to say that it's 3 miles. Well, if you move a snake more than a mile or 3 miles away from where it was you caught it, the likelihood that it's going to survive is nothing, because now it's in another animal's
Yep.
territory.
yeah,
And so not a lot of people know that, but snakes are very territorial. And so what we try to do is accommodate the fact that even though it's on a property and we got to be careful if it biting the animals or us, we don't want to make it to where it doesn't have a chance at life. So we try not to move it very far. So in our community, there are a couple of people that will come and remove a rattlesnake, but it's expensive. And there's a lot of people that live in our community that just can't afford that. So if you call animal control or animal control is contacted by emergency services that there is a rattlesnake that is putting life at jeopardy, like children and stuff like that, then we go out and we remove it. But in those instances, we have to take the snake away from that house. We don't live there. We don't know what is an accommodating situation or area. So we have to move it, but we try to accommodate the distance rule of a mile. But yeah, that's so. With great power comes great responsibility, and we have the power to be able to remove that threat. So we have the responsibility of doing that. We feel for our community. You know, it sucks for a kid to get bit by a rattlesnake, or for an elderly person that's just going down their steps to do the laundry out on the back patio or whatever it is, to get bit by a snake and have to go through that experience. So if we can do something to change that, then of course we're going to do it.
So I used to have this uncle named Nathan who was a biology teacher in Clovis, and every summer he would take his class out to the Mojave Desert and do late night like snake walks.
This is a glossy snake, guys.
I want to show my mom. She'll have a heart attack. Wait, no. Wait. Doug's videotaping. Mommy! Look!
Doug, where'd you go? Doug!
And throughout the trip he would catch lizards, toads, sometimes mice,
It's a little pocket mouse.
Can you jump?
That's full grown, yep.
and just teach people about nature. But occasionally he would stumble across a desert tortoise, and he would give it like a little bit of water or some vegetables that he had on him for lunch. Is that the right thing to do, or what would you advise someone to do if they stumbled upon a desert tortoise out in the middle of nowhere?
let it go on its way.
So the federal guidelines are don't ever touch it unless it's crossing the road, and the only thing that you do is pick it up in the direction it is pointing, take it 6 feet off the road, they say a couple feet, and then let it go and don't touch it again. We don't even agree with that. Stop traffic and let the tortoise get across the road.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on that road can slow down their lives for long enough to allow that animal to do what it's doing.
Yeah.
You built the road in its territory. It's no different than the city or the county putting up a stop sign in the middle of your route to work, and you've got to stop at some stop sign now. Stop, wait, let the tortoise. We don't agree with that.
Yeah.
The reason why is when you, desert tortoises especially, are designed to live extended periods without water. Desert tortoises, most of their water is going to come in the springtime. They're going to drink puddles of rainwater, and they're going to store that water all summer long. Well, let's say it's August or July that you pick up this tortoise. What they do when they're scared is void their bow, So they urinate and lose all of their water storage. Well, it's not going to rain for another 7 months, 6 months.
Right.
So we don't even agree with, if you see the tortoise in the road, leave it alone. But the federal guidelines are, or the state guidelines are, okay, move it off the road. But
In the
we-
direction that it was going, but
yeah,
it should just let the tortoise or turtle cross and go.
lots of people have been caught in like cattle drives, you know, and there's cows or sheep or agriculture animals on the road, and you just wait. If there's a bunch of reindeer going across the road, most people would take out the picture. Oh, this is so cool.
Or
Well,
like ducks and their babies and geese and their
yeah,
babies.
yeah.
Here at the Joshua Tree Reptile Haven, do you all breed the tortoises that you obtain, or
Absolutely not.
why not?
We don't feel that if we're a rescue, making more would make sense. That doesn't make any sense to us.
No. They live so long. The large sulcatas, you can have 100 babies, and you can do
Out
that
of one clutch.
out of one clutch. So, and you can do that 3 times in a year. So one female can produce 250, 300 babies in a year. Easy. How are you going to find 300 forever homes in a year? There's no way. There's facilities that can't find 30 in a year. And everybody does, oh, well, I'm going to sell them. Well, but that doesn't work, because now you're just trying to get rid of them at a cheap price to people that just abuse them, basically, because they don't know what they're doing. So we don't feel that breeding an animal that is only going to suffer to death, because that's what 999 out of every 1,000 tortoises is going to happen. So, and there's not a need. There's not like we need more sulcatas. They're running them around in the wilds of Arizona and Nevada
Yeah,
now.
they're dropping them off in the deserts.
Because
so-
it doesn't get cold enough to kill them, so they just drop them off out there. Well, it's not ideal, but we can't imagine.
We're rescuing animals. We don't need to create more.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so backwards to us.
Yeah.
You're going to dedicate your life. You're going to, every waking moment, every fiber of your being, every bit of energy that you spend is going to be providing homes for animals. Well, let's make a couple thousand more.
Yeah.
It just
And a lot of rescues, what they do is they'll take in animals, they'll breed like different species and sell them to make money for their rescue. Well, you're making more animals to be later on rescued, and there are plenty of other ways to make money for your rescue than breeding, because it takes a lot of money to breed, it takes a lot of time to breed, and then to find homes for those to even sell them in the first place. So it doesn't make sense to us. It's ass backwards, if I'm allowed to say that. And it's not right. You're rescuing animals, you should not be creating anymore.
And a lot of rescues do breed. And the reason why is they say that, okay, well, this is the way, the justification, I need to do this in order to fund the rescue. I
Right.
can't rescue these animals unless I breed. Well, we're
Prime example that
an
you
example,
can.
you don't have to breed. You do not have to
No.
breed. There are plenty of other ways in this world that we're living in now to where you don't have to breed. This isn't 1930 where the only people you talk to are in your community. There's lots of different ways that you can interact with other people all over the world and make money besides making animals that are going to suffer.
And if you're willing to put in the work to breed, then put in the work to do something else to raise the money. You know, nothing comes for free in this world. So yeah, you're going to have to work your tail off to get the donations to come in, but it's worth it. Every single second, it's worth it.
And that's a great segue into my next question. When did you guys make the conscious decision to start creating content and start telling the stories of these rescues?
So
At first, we didn't want to.
No, we didn't. If you can't tell, we live pretty rural and we're pretty shy people. We're not very, we're not used to seeing people all the time.
Yeah.
We have a very private life, and we didn't want to put our life in the public sphere. Well, once we realized that we needed to share what it was that we were doing, not just for tortoise education, but the story of, like we were just talking about. We don't need to breed animals to sell them to make money.
Right.
There's other ways that we have an income, or the rescue has an income. YouTube is one of those. Now, when we first started YouTube, there was absolutely no thought that we were ever going to become monetized. Because if you look on YouTube, the people that are monetized are famous and big, and we're just nobodies,
Yeah.
you know? So there was that was never a thought. We thought that if we were ever to be monetized, it would take years and years and years, and lots of hard work. Well, our focus was we just need to show people, okay, this tortoise has a broken shell. This is what we did. And it really didn't start with YouTube videos like we're doing now. I guess more of like a vlog type or an interview type setting. It was, we just made small films. Even though they were only 3.5 minutes or whatever, I called them small films because they weren't videos, they were stories. And so that was the initial was, oh, we just got to share this story.
Yeah.
Then it turned into, well, hell, what we just did today is the story.
Yeah.
Not just the tortoise's life, but there's not a lot of rescues that say, yeah, I'll come get your animal. Well, if they can't bring us the animal and the animal is in a situation where they're suffering, why wouldn't we go get it? That doesn't make any sense. And we hear it all the time. Every day we hear that. Oh, there's nowhere that will take my animal that will not breed it, or will take it for free, or will come get it, or will tell me what's going to happen with the animal.
Or provided a forever home.
Yeah. Which was the second part of the YouTube thing that we did was, oh, well, nobody's doing this. Nobody. And so, and if they are, they're not on YouTube. They're not sharing their story. Well, that's great that they're doing that. But we want to inspire other people to do this. We can't do it.
No.
There's no way we could save every tortoise. Yes, we're having them shipped from all over the country, only because we can't have them internationally shipped. If we could have them shipped from all over the country or the world, they would be. We have people all over the world that follow us and that communicate with us, that have tortoises. They're in terrible situations, but we just can't internationally. We just can't get them to us yet. But nobody does this, so we thought, you know what? We need to tell this story so that somebody else can see it. So if they have that same passion, this is kind of a guide to how to do it. Now, of course, they're going to do it differently, but at least this shows that it can be done. And hey, here's a few basics of how we did it.
And as we go through this journey, we learn of other organizations just like us that rescue animals. You know, a lot of them adopt them out, but that's okay too. If they can find a forever home, great. That's like 100% right on. But we pay attention to these other organizations now as we go along, and there's ones that we recommend. If there's somebody, for example, we have an organization that we respect that's in Arizona, and if we get calls from Arizona and, you know, somebody's like, oh, I need help, Bob, I'll reach out to them. And so we work as a team to make sure that the bottom line end result is that the tortoise gets a forever home and taken care of well. You know, that's a win-win.
And how that happened is through YouTube.
Yeah.
And social media.
Yeah.
They're not, I don't mean to make it as a bad thing, but they're not publicly on social media, they're not as big. And so they don't have as much exposure. Well, they're still saving lives.
And a lot of lives. I mean, Arizona's covered in them.
Yeah, and that's why the YouTube was just, you know what, we're going to have to suck it up. We're going to have to bite our lip. We're going to have to be public. We're going to have to share our lives. We're going to have to say, and for the tortoises.
And through YouTube, we can reach more people. We can educate more people. All of those people that watch our videos turn around and have 1 to 10 other people that they're going to tell exactly, you know, what they learned. And then it's just going to keep on going from there. So it's great. I mean, it's a great opportunity. And we're very thankful to be able to do it.
Was there a breakout moment for you guys in your content creation journey where you realize like, oh wait, this has really high potential to reach people and maybe even generate income that can support the Reptile Haven?
Yes, we did. We were contacted on New Year's Day this year by a president of a homeowners association where a gentleman had passed away. And there were 2 large, very large tortoises on top of the condo that this gentleman lived in. He called multiple people. Nobody was able to help, and one of our other organizations that we work with recommended us. So he gave us a call, and of course we jumped on it. We didn't even think about it, you know.
No.
Told him we'd be there next morning, and that's where we were. So we started our journey that morning. We drove down and we did a Facebook Live for the very first time ever. We had no idea what we were doing, but we just rolled with it. And then so for the rest of the day during the rescue, we had videotaped it. We did Facebook Live and so forth, not thinking that we would ever make a YouTube video of it, but we did. So we filmed all day long, and then we edited the video, made the video, and posted it on YouTube. And man, it just went crazy.
Really?
Just outrageous. We went from like, I don't know, like 300 and something subscribers.
So in 4 months, we had less than 500 subscribers
Yeah.
in our first 4 months.
Yeah.
Then Tim and Harold is who that is. Tim and Harold hit, and we did the YouTube video, and in 90 days, we were over 12,000
Wow.
subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And already monetized.
And monetized.
Wow. So you woke up to a whole different reality.
Whole
Yeah.
new world.
And there's all kinds of content about being a content creator, and this is what you need to do to make it happen. Like, this is what you need to do to work. And I did what everybody else does. I don't know if you did. I YouTubed. How do you become a content creator? What do you do? And I watched a monotonous amount of hours of people explaining to me on, oh, you can't be successful unless this is what you do. Well, Mr. Beast, I guess is his name, or Beast,
Yeah.
he's a YouTube.
Yeah.
I still,
The kids know what it is.
yeah, the kids know who, you might know who he is, but I didn't know who he is. I watched the video of his, and he said that your first 100 videos are going to suck. Nobody's going to want to watch them. Don't get your feelings hurt. All you have to do is on each time that you make a video, try to do one thing better. And so I said, you know what? I can do that. At the time, I was using iMovie on my iPhone.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, each video that I make, I'll either do music a little bit better, I'll spend a little bit more time with that, or I'll do that, whatever. Well, then that's really when we did the Tim and Harold, where I started to focus, okay, and we figured the Tim and Harold explosion was going to be
Tim and Harold, by the way, are the two tortoises we brought down from the roof.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be a one-hit wonder. We were going to be no different than a hair band in the 80s. Like, it was just going to fade. Well, it just continues to go, and I think that that is a big part of it. If we continue to just focus on doing one thing better in a video. When I first heard 100 videos, I thought, wow, 100 videos?
Yeah, we thought
Who
it
makes
would be-
100 videos?
We thought it'd be years before we got
Yeah.
to that.
It's been 90 days and we're at 100 and something videos. But that's what we did. And that was really when we realized this might be a viable thing. And that was another reality for us.
Yeah.
Before that, we were just hobbyists. We were just YouTube fans. There was nothing that we had invested in other than just relating the education, the message. Well, then once it started to become that, then we had, oh, well, now we have, all of a sudden, we have the responsibility of, we have 4,000. A friend of ours said, don't even talk to me till you get 10,000 subscribers when we got to 5. And we thought we would never make it to 10. That was sarcastic. Well, we have a responsibility to those 4,000 people that are subscribed. They
Yeah.
want to see not just content, more content, but better content. They are investing themselves into the journey. Well, that now has become another job. Now we are invested into, we are making short films for viewers. And if it doesn't become better, then who is going to want to take part in that? Who is going to want to invest their own time in watching it? Now they don't learn. Because that's what our videos are all about.
Yeah.
Whether it's, we haven't done this yet, but whether it's breaking down on the side of the road as we're rescuing a tortoise or whatever it is, there's always something in our video you can learn about.
Yeah.
And so if we don't continue to produce content that those people want to go on a journey with, then we're not going to grow. And so that was just not only like, oh man, there's going to be people who are going to watch this. Then it took us a little bit, oh man, we got to make these people happy. We got to make more videos. You know, we've got to do something
Yeah.
that is worthy of them people being subscribed. And we've done very well, as everybody knows. If you lose a subscriber, it lets you know, it says. And I thought we would lose subscribers in bigger numbers, and it's never happened. And so we just continue to do that and have the faith in that as long as we make what we think people are going to want to watch and do one thing at a time better,
Right.
and it's worked. We think that that's going to be a great way to grow as well as share with other people what's happening.
A couple things I really love about what you guys do is you're doing good. You're helping all these tortoises, you're helping families or individuals who need to relinquish their tortoise, you're helping them, and you're just creating positive content along the way. And on YouTube, I'm sure you're aware, that's rarer and rarer because people get so involved in the political things happening in this country, which can just be crazy, whether it's this president or the next or the previous. So you guys are just like making a ripple effect of positivity that I absolutely love. Another thing I love is reading the comments on your videos. You can tell that these are people who have seen the last video and the video before that. Right. They know the tortoises' names. And you guys are forming this community of like positive people who want to help and support. And I guess my question is, now that you have this like growing base of support underneath you, where do you see this like growing into maybe 5 years from now?
Oh man. So what we really hope for is that we stop seeing tortoises put on YouTube that are being tortured. Whether it's the food that's being fed, we've went over that and linked today. Whether it's that or it's just the wrong enclosures. Now, if somebody is new to tortoising and they're going on YouTube and they make a channel and they want to share the journey of them with their new tortoise, fantastic. It's not going to be right at first. We all started somewhere before we could get where we're at. So where we see it in 5 years is hopefully there will be a large enough group of people or a large enough number of people that have seen the videos and have learned from the videos so that when they watch a video that a tortoise is something is being done that should not be done, they say, hey, in the comments, because YouTube really is the comments. It really is a community of text messages. You know, I'm old school. That's what I see it as. It's a typed message. And that's really what it's. Half of it might be the video, the content, but the other half of it is the people that are communicating with each other in the comments. If you look at some of the comments that they have 25 other comments. That's really 26 comments.
Yeah.
But that's no telling how many different people interacting with each other. And you mentioned the positive thing. Even if they're debating, I'm not saying they're arguing and cussing at each other, but even if they're debating, that's what us as a society on this world, that's what we're based off of. We have to be able to communicate with people. And I really do believe in the comments that that's a big deal. And if they watch our video and say, oh, well, you should soak your tortoise. Your tortoise isn't from the desert. They need more water than that. It's going to cause their shell to pyramid.
Yeah.
That person that was doing that, that might change forever the way that tortoise is taken care of. So in 5 years, we hope that that is where it's at. We don't know what the subscriber count is going to be. We're not big on views. We look at watch hours because we make some of our videos are well over a half hour.
Right.
We have 50-minute videos.
Yeah.
And if somebody watches that one time, but for 50 minutes, I can't even calculate right now how many shorts that is out a minute long, you know? And so we don't know where we're going to be as far as views or subscribers. Watch hours, you know, is what we really care about because that is, right now we're pushing 100,000. Well, that means for 100,000 hours, somebody enjoyed watching what we're doing. Because if they didn't enjoy it, they wouldn't watch it. So in 5 years, I hope that that's where we're at. That we have a big enough group, a community on YouTube that, not like they're the tortoise police or anything, but that they can change tortoises' lives. That it's not just us as a video.
Yeah, like I hope that in 5 years, our channel is the channel that new tortoise owners go to, or current tortoise owners go to, or that anyone really, even if they're curious or just want to learn, that they go to our channel because they trust in the content we're giving. Something that Dana and I both are dedicated to being is real. We don't want to sugarcoat anything. And if you watch our videos, you see that we don't sugarcoat anything. But we want to be real, and we feel that that's important, especially in today's world, is to show the real thing. We're not going to put up a prop and then, bring our tortoise into it. No, we're going to be out in the everyday life that we experience, that the tortoises experience, and share that, because that's real content. Some
That's
people
what the
like
tortoise
it.
owner
Yeah,
is going to be doing at their yard.
exactly.
They're not the ones that we see where they've got the whole video set up and it's a production
Yeah, and
to
it's like
film the
this.
tortoises. And it's not just a couple. There's lots of people that do that, even
Yeah.
other rescues, where they set up a scene that is not natural so that they can get people to view it. Well, that's not what the everyday tortoise owner is going to be doing in their backyard.
Yeah.
And we hope that that is what, they see. Oh, man. I say this a lot to people. We are different because we have the animals. We have over 100 tortoises here that we take care of every single day. So it's not just one tortoise that we're giving you a production about. We're showing you this is how you take care of tortoises. And it's not just necessarily one species. We have multiple species.
And you can't, so education-wise, if you have a large amount of one species in all different shapes, sizes, care, you name it, there's so much more information that you gain out of having those tortoises than you do if you've just been a hobby enthusiast tortoise owner for 50 years, right? So for us, I love the fact that we're not coming on here telling you we know every single thing about, every single species and this and that, whether they burp on Tuesday or not. We learn every single day. We learn new stuff. And
Yeah.
what we learn isn't common for most tortoise owners to learn, because they don't have the variety of tortoises like we do. And so for us to be able to give them that information is phenomenal. That's how I feel about it. The tortoises are fascinating. There's so much to learn every single day. And we want to share that. Absolutely 100% want to share it. So that's where I hope we will be in 5 years.
I love it. And what about the haven itself, like the property here? Do you foresee having to expand to house more tortoises?
Well, it would be nice, and to look to the future, that we could be part of saving that many lives. If we could get more property to do it, we'd be on it. And the reason why is it's not just Dana and I. We do our property here, but to be able to work with other organizations and so much of the public to be able to make that happen, to have other locations that we can do what we do here, there with volunteers and the help, it would be just amazing.
It's no different than I'm not even going to say a company. You can take your pick of whatever big company that exists, even if it's just in your community. That started with one person or one couple's dream.
Right.
And it didn't start with 15 locations. It started with one. And then they went, oh, wow, you know what? We can do this again. Oh, we can do it again.
Yeah.
So we would love to buy property and do that. We think that this is the beginning of a different business model, because the business model of rescuing tortoises is not working. There's just way too many tortoises. Whether it's legislation or whatever needs to be done, the animals that are alive that need homes, there's not enough homes for them. So we are trying to figure out a different business model, a different way of doing it. And if it works, we have 10 acres, we still have lots of expanding to go. If this becomes a successful business model, then by every means, yeah, of course, we would do it again.
Yeah, and be part of others doing it. Why not? if we can save so many with what we're doing, why not save thousands and thousands more? Because it is doable. And we know that because we're doing it right now, you know? And so if we can get other people to come on this journey with us and do it too, that's amazing.
So you mentioned that you both have experience with reptiles before getting your first tortoise. Where did that experience come from?
So it started all the way back for me when I was a child. My mother was into nature. I was in first grade, went to use the restroom behind a tree, and there was a snake. I caught it, I took it to school. So it's always been a fascination of mine. But when we got together, her family life, they had animals, but it wasn't so much as the reptile. We've been together 25 years now.
Just the salamander and the frogs.
So when we got together, she wasn't so much exposed to the reptiles.
No.
But I got her into the reptiles, and then she fell in love with it. And we've been for over 20 years, a snake, lizard family. We weren't tortoises necessarily, but
No.
that changed. We were exposed to tortoises and then fell in love with them, but didn't realize that there was such a need for them. So it's been over a decade since we were first exposed to tortoises that we,
Dash.
what a shot.
Yeah, get that.
No, I meant like if his head poked up in the camera.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would have been so cute. Come on, Dash. Get
I think
down.
we're good. I think we're good. This is chaotic in a good way.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
we've had reptile experience together for, you know, we didn't do it to this level. We
No.
were hobbyists. We thought there was an animal at the pet store, a snake or a lizard that was cool. We bought it. We exposed our children to that type of a life, but we weren't like we are now. This is completely different. This is where our life is just tortoises now. That's all that we do. Before we had lives and reptiles were a part of it. Now
Our life
we
is
have
reptiles.
tortoises and life is not part of it.
Yeah.
Because we really have no life outside of tortoises. But that we've decided to do this. This is what we want to
Yeah.
do.
That's what we want to do. That's what we want our life to be.
Yeah.
So,
A life, we build a life that we don't need.
vacation from.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So with YouTube, you sort of have a microphone to the world. You know, there's like an unlimited potential of people that could potentially watch your videos. If you both had one message to give to the world, what would you want to tell them?
Find what your part is and do something. Like make a change somewhere. You know, if everybody just talks about it and doesn't do anything about it, then nothing ever gets done. There's no change. You know, but if you have a do your part, then do it. You know, don't be afraid of it. Just do it.
That's really, so when we were in the very infancy of maybe we might have to become a tortoise rescue.
Yeah.
There was all these people that talked about the Sulcata tortoises and how many need homes and, oh, somebody's got to do something different. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody. Well, who is going to be the somebody? Somebody has to step up and be the somebody. And so that's what our decision was. But that's our message is, what is it that you are going to do? If we all rely on somebody else in this world for the things that we need and we don't give anything back, then what part do you have? Mm-hmm. What are you doing? Are you a leech where you're just sucking energy out of the world? Are you one of those negative people that this world is full of beautiful places and beautiful things can be done? If you're one of those people that just focus on negative things, you know, and I've got to shut down things, which that includes as well as we should have the freedoms to do things. If, you know, if we are good stewards of the planet, then we should be able to enjoy all the aspects of our planet responsibly. And that's kind of what it's not, a lot of people tie it to, oh, you're an animal rescue, so then you're a tree hugger type of, you know, you just have that, oh, no, nature. It's not so much that as it is, just as we are thinking in the long run for forever homes for the tortoises, what's the long run for our planet? What's the long run for where we're at?
Yeah.
If we're trying to provide a home for 100 years for a tortoise, but the path that we're on, there's not much world left, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We should be doing something else to make sure there's more world, you know, we would be in a different direction.
It's a selfless act. I mean, you know, like it would be amazing if every person in our entire world would just take one moment to not do something for themselves, but for somebody else or something else, you know? So, for example, a year and a half ago, Dana and I had complete different plans for our 10 acres, you know? I mean, I was going to get a cow, which is like my favorite ever, right? And we just had so many other plans and everything was all worked out. And then we came across Jojo, which was the desert tortoise that was brought to us. And from that moment forward, our lives changed. And we realized that there was a greater need to do what we're doing today than there was for us to do what we wanted to do a year and a half ago. And so as much as I love cows, as much as I wanted one, I'm not going to get one because I'm going to leave that space for some more tortoises. You know, so find what you can do and do it. Stop talking about it and do it.
I know there's a lot of people out there who are thinking about starting a YouTube channel, or maybe they've even started the journey already and they're maybe not getting so many views and they're in the process, they're in the grind. What advice would you give to them to get to where you guys are today?
The best advice I ever got off of YouTube, and it came like 100 hours after watching stuff, was your video is not going to be famous. That's not going to happen. Don't have that expectation. This is no different than any other job. If you were going to paint a 30-story commercial building, you wouldn't expect to be a commercial painter by just buying a paintbrush. And that is no different than YouTube. It is a process. Some people's process is longer than other people's, but you have to realistically think of it in stages. And for me, that was if I just did one thing in a video that was better. Well, by the end of 100 videos now, you're 100 times better than you were when you started. And that might not be enough. It might take 500 videos. But as long as you are going in that direction, you have the goal of this is what I'm going to do and I'm dedicated to trying to achieve that, you will achieve it. Think of the other things in your life that you've wanted to achieve. Whether it was when Air Jordan shoes were the most popular shoe and everybody wanted that and you went and whatever you had to do, you got it. If you want to do YouTube, you can do YouTube and you can find a way to do it.
I feel that you should just be real.
Yeah.
Because if you be real and do what it is, the message that you're passionate about, or something that you're passionate about, there's going to be like-minded people. And they're going to catch on to what you're doing and they're going to support you too. And they're going to be, you know, just like it happened with us.
Yeah.
I mean, we were real. We didn't expect to go down and take those tortoises off the roof and then a day later be like gigantic on YouTube as far as the level we were at before. So, but we were just real. And so I recommend just being real and allow those people that are into what you're doing find you and like it
YouTube
too.
is an incredible platform unlike anything else on this planet. And you touched on it. You can really touch people anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. With the advancements and internet and stuff, there's internet in places that you would have never imagined there'd be internet. Or people watching your YouTube video. We had one time a lady contact us that she had just left a pub in France.
And it was in England.
Or in England, and she was at home, probably half intoxicated, and our YouTube video popped up, and she watched it, and she donated, and she's a subscriber, and it's changed the direction now of her life. Not like, you know, oh, this is some incredible event, but now her life is going to be different because she watches our channel. Her neighbor might get a tortoise, and she might become friends with her. There's no telling what. And YouTube is like that. It's unlike anything else that there is. And I think that if you're interested in connecting with people in whatever aspect, you might have 10 videos, but just thousands and thousands and thousands of comments. So it's not your video that is your YouTube, it's your community that's communicating in the comments.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways. It's a truly different business model because you can make it whatever you need it to be to become successful. It's pretty flexible. And us as sitting here as YouTubers, we understand that and have a passion for that. And I think if you have a passion for that, then just keep doing it. Just keep doing it and make sure that you do it better, and you will achieve success.
Dana, Amanda, thank you so much for letting us spend some time here at the Joshua Tree Reptile Haven. Honestly, this was like a really special experience, not just to be surrounded by all the mountains and stuff and Joshua trees, to see all the happy animals. This was really incredible. So thanks for letting us be here today.
No problem. We appreciate really you guys coming.
Yeah.
It is just as much an honor to us for you to come and share this with us than it is for you to come and do it. You know what I mean? We appreciate this.
It was like a breath of fresh air for us today. It was Easter. We didn't even realize it was Easter until
I know,
Friday.
I feel like we're family now after spending Easter together.
Yeah, you know, and so it was nice. Like I really enjoyed having you guys here, and it was a fun time. Like it was really great.
Us too.
We appreciate you guys spending your Easter with us.
And so thank you for coming and sharing your passion with us.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
It's an incredible
It's been a
experience.
pleasure. We had a great time.
We'll be back to visit soon.
Thank you.